Get out of there. All right, good. We're gonna bring on, guys. We've only got one more act of the night. But we do have one more act of the night. Right, guys, you're sitting over here. Keep it down. Like, let him do his thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Christian Talbot.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to top off the night this evening by I want to talk to you about ghee. I've got your attention. That's a good thing. I want to talk to you about ghee specifically. I want to talk to you about the word ghee and the importance of the word ghee to me in my life. Is there anybody in the audience that isn't from Ireland? Anyway, gentleman at the back there, where are you from, sir? You're from South Africa?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the word ghee before?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Irish sense. Do you know what it means?
I have an idea, yeah.
You have an idea. Is there any of the lads in the front here from Dublin, what's ghee mean?
Vagina.
Vagina. It means vagina. It's a slang word for vagina. It's another word for pussy or lady garden or furry front bottom, whatever way you want to say it. Now the thing is, I love language. I'm infatuated with language. I like using language in all its different forms. I love cursing. I love swearing. I love profanity. I think it's brilliant. So the thing is that I'm not really, I think it's magical. I think it can be musical. I think cursing can be poetic. So the other day I was in the street and I heard somebody say this. I want to read it out to you because I think it's brilliant. It says, Jacinta, you fucking scanger. Bring me back 20 Johnny Blue and don't forget the matches or I'll smack the bleeding ghee off you. Now, if you take away the violence inherent in that sentence, that's poetry. That's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, as I said, I like using language in all of its different forms. I like having a broad lexicon that I can use, and unfortunately I don't get to do that. I'm from Dublin, but unfortunately I live in Belfast, and I work for a very, very conservative company. And in fact, most of the people that I work with have what I call an overly familiar relationship with Jesus. I was in work my first day and something wasn't going right on the computer and I went, for fuck's sake. And the whole place stopped. They all looked at me and my manager at the time came over to me and he said, Christian, we don't really allow that sort of toilet talk in the office. Now, I spaced out at that stage because I was too busy wondering about the phrase toilet talk. I was thinking about some sort of chat show with Graham Norton being locked in a Jack's, going, oh, our next guest is going to be George Michael. So I'm not allowed to curse in work, which prohibits me somewhat. Not allowed to curse in work, but then I discovered that I could use ghee. Ghee hasn't made it over the border. Along with a few other things like smiling, manners, stuff like that. And in fact, I've done some research on it. Back in 1921, during the signing of the Anglo-Irish Treaty, that ultimately led to partition, Michael Collins had to negotiate very, very hard in order to secure ghee for the Irish state. He got us ghee, he got us Donegal, and he got us red lemonade. That's the shit he fought for, ladies and gentlemen. You were here because of that. Northern Ireland got Armagh, potato bread, and the word scundered, which I have no idea what that means. Actually, at the time, I've done some research and I've done some reading, and actually at the time, James Craig, the Ulster Unionist negotiator at the time, was heard to shout at Collins and De Valera, get back to Dublin and take your stinking ghee with you. And Collins and De Valera both turned to each other and went, he said ghee. So I'm allowed to use ghee with impunity in the office. I can say things like, that's a load of ghee, you're a ghee bag, ask me ghee, even though I don't have a ghee. Up until recently. I was nearly found out a couple of weeks ago. My boss had his 50th birthday party a couple of weeks ago, and he had a big party back at his house over the weekend. And of course, we weren't invited because we're only plebs. And his personal secretary came into work on the Monday, and she sent around an email, and it said, the boss has given instructions for the remains of his birthday cake to be given out to everybody. Now, I'm not the sort of person who wants to eat the crumbs from another man's table, let me tell you. And what I had to do was to express myself in the only way that I could through the medium of ghee. And the next day the boss came in and he said, "Christian, I heard you weren't particularly impressed, with the whole birthday cake thing, and you called me a ghee." And I said, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, I called you a ghee. You know what ghee is, don't you?" And he went, No, I don't." "Ghee's legend. You know what a legend is. So, you're a legend. Ghee is legend. Legend, ledge bag, things like that." He said, "I'm a ghee bag." I said, "You're a total ghee bag." Thanks very much for listening. Cheers.
Everybody loves the game. Christian Talbot.